Somewhere out there, right now, a civilization may be staring at their sky the same way we stare at ours, wondering, hoping, searching. And here is the part that nobody tells you. Even if they found us, even if they built the most powerful ship ever conceived, even if they devoted the entire energy output of their star to a single mission pointed directly at Earth, they would still never arrive. Not because of anything we did, not because they failed, but because the universe itself built a wall around every single civilization that has ever existed. And that wall does not care how smart you are. Before I explain exactly why, let me ask you something real quick. Where in the world are you watching this right now? Drop it in the comments. I genuinely want to know. Now stay with me, because what I am about to show you changes the way you see the night sky forever. And the full reveal, the thing that makes this truly impossible, that comes at the very end. Do not skip ahead. Look up at the night sky on a clear night. Find two stars that look close together, almost touching. Your brain tells you they are neighbors. They are not. One might be 6 light years away. The other might be 800. The night sky is a lie. A beautiful, ancient, convincing lie that flattens the entire universe into a dome your eyes can process. And that lie is the foundation of every casual assumption about alien visitors. Here's the reality. The nearest star to our sun is Alpha Centauri. It sits 4.24 light years away. That number sounds small. It is not. 1 light year is 5.88 trillion miles. Multiply that by 4, and you get roughly 25 trillion miles. If you started counting to 25 trillion right now, one number per second, never stopping, never sleeping, you would still be counting 800,000 years from now. That is longer than modern humans have existed on Earth. Now consider Voyager 1, launched in 1977. Flying for over 4 decades without stopping, traveling at 38,000 miles per hour, 22 times faster than a bullet. In all that time, Voyager has covered about 15 billion miles. That sounds impressive, until you realize it has not yet crossed the distance that light travels in a single day. 1 day of light travel, and Alpha Centauri is over 4 light years away. At its current speed, Voyager would need 73,000 years to reach the nearest star. 73,000 years. All of recorded human civilization fits inside about 12,000 years. Voyager would need 6 times that just to reach the house next door. And Alpha Centauri is the closest option. The brightest star in our sky, Sirius, is 50 trillion miles away. The red giant Betelgeuse is so far that the light you see from it tonight left before the Norman conquest of England. These are not exotic deep space objects. These are the stars in our local neighborhood. The Milky Way stretches 100,000 light years from edge to edge. Even light, the fastest thing in existence, needs 100,000 years to cross it. Our fastest spacecraft needs more time than the entire history of human civilization just to reach the nearest star. Scale that logic across the galaxy, and the wall becomes clear. Distance is the first wall. Now here is where it gets truly impossible, because to cross that distance in anything approaching a reasonable time, you need speed, and speed costs energy, and the energy required is not just large, it is physically catastrophic. To accelerate a spacecraft the size of a small car to just 10% of the speed of light, you need approximately 450 quadrillion joules of kinetic energy. That is equivalent to running a large nuclear power plant at full capacity for 14 straight years. All of it funneled into pushing one small robotic probe. No crew. No return trip, no way to stop when it gets there. Just a car-sized machine flung at 10% of light speed toward the nearest star. The most energy-dense fuel theoretically possible is antimatter. When matter and antimatter meet, they annihilate completely, converting 100% of their mass into energy, perfect fuel. And humanity has produced a total of about 20 nanograms of antimatter in all of history across every particle accelerator ever built. A nanogram is 1/1000th of a gram. 20 nanograms would not show up on a kitchen scale. To produce just 1 gram using current technology would cost $25 trillion. That is larger than the entire U.S. economy, and a useful interstellar probe would need hundreds of kilograms of it. Now, scale to a ship large enough to carry people. Realistic estimates for even a minimal crewed vessel land somewhere between 1 million and 100 million kilograms. The energy and fuel requirements do not just grow, they exit the realm of meaningful numbers entirely. And then there's time. Even if you solve the energy problem, time destroys everything else. At 10% of light speed, the journey to Alpha Centauri takes 42 years one way. A crew leaving at age 30 arrives at 72. The return trip doubles that to 84 years. An entire human lifetime to visit the nearest star and come back, and Alpha Centauri is the closest one. A star 1,000 light-years away, at 10% of light speed, takes 10,000 years to reach. 10,000 years. Writing was not yet invented 10,000 years ago. No human institution has ever survived a fraction of that. No language, no government, no culture, nothing we have ever built has lasted 10,000 years. And that is just the travel time. The crew aboard would face cosmic radiation penetrating any shield we can design, social collapse across generations, mechanical systems degrading beyond repair, and total communication blackout from home within decades. A radio signal sent back to Earth from a ship already traveling would take years to arrive. A reply would take years more. By the time any meaningful exchange happened, the original senders and receivers would be long dead. The universe does not offer a shortcut. Warp drives require exotic matter that has never been observed and may not physically exist. Wormholes face the same problem and would violate causality if they worked. Faster-than-light travel is not an engineering challenge waiting for a smarter civilization. It is a structural impossibility written into the geometry of space-time itself. The speed of light is not a wall you break through. It is the shape of the room, and you cannot break through the walls of a room you are made of. Here is what all of this actually means, and this is the part I promised you at the beginning, the thing that changes everything. The reason aliens have never reached Earth is not because they do not exist. It is not because they are not intelligent. It is not because they lack ambition or curiosity or technology. It is because the universe is structured at its most fundamental level to keep every civilization permanently isolated from every other one. Think about what any alien civilization attempting to reach us would actually face. They would need to detect us first, but our radio signals have only been leaking into space for about 100 years. That means any civilization more than 100 light-years away has received zero signal from us, zero evidence we exist. Our radio bubble covers less than 1/1,000,000th of the galaxy's volume. From 1,000 light-years away, Earth is invisible, electromagnetically silent. One anonymous dot among 400 billion similar dots. If they somehow did detect us, they would be seeing light that left Earth centuries ago. They would be looking at the medieval period. No city lights, no radio, no industrial signature. Just a small blue world with an interesting atmosphere. One candidate among potentially thousands. And if they committed anyway, accepted all of that and launched a mission, they would be sending a ship into a journey that lasts 10,000 years through radiation that erodes the hull atom by atom across a void so empty that the nearest anything is trillions of miles away in every direction, with no possibility of communication, no reinforcement, no rescue, sustained by a civilization that will almost certainly not exist in the same form when the ship arrives. Every civilization in the Milky Way faces this same arithmetic. Not because they are primitive, not because they failed to find the trick, but because the trick does not exist.
The laws of physics wrote the price tag before any civilization was born to read it. The speed of light, the conservation of energy, the arrow of entropy, the passage of time. These are not limitations of current technology. They are the architecture of reality, and they apply to everyone. The night sky is not a map of destinations waiting to be visited. It is a record of isolation. Every star is a solitary outpost. Every civilization that has ever looked upward has looked into a darkness it can never cross. Not because the will is absent, because the universe itself said no. The candle flames burn in the cathedral, each one brief and brilliant and completely alone. The darkness between them is not empty. It is just too vast for any light to bridge. That is the answer. That has always been the answer. The universe is full of life. We will simply never meet any of it.